Thank you very much for welcoming to MESO, African Motives. Today we are going to be on Economic Management and Science Grade 9, Term 3. So let us be together from the start of this presentation to the end of it. And make sure that we are going to share with those who are concerned and make sure that you're going to hit the subscription button. So without wasting much time, let's quickly go straight to question 1. And here are the instruction. The instruction read as follows. The following balances appear among others in the books of billboard readers at the beginning of their financial year, 1st March 2020. So here are the balances that we are told that they appear. This is what? Capital, trading stock, debtors control, bank, sales, cost of sales, and their amounts. So moving on, we are given the balances in debtors ledger on 1st March 2020, where now we are given the debtors. You know, debtors are those people who bought the stock from us as business on credit. So we have what? RROXI, LDC, and these are their opening balances. So we are also told that billboard traders sold goods at a profit markup of what? 100% on cost price. So take note of that, as we are going to use that when you are going up. So here are other instructions. Here are other instructions which read as follows. Record a transaction for March 2020 in the cash receipt journal with analysis columns for analysis receipt, bank, sales, cost of sales, debtors control, and sundry accounts. These are the columns that you're going to use when we do our cash receipts journal. So don't forget that. Record the transaction for March 2020 in the debtors journal. So we are going to do what? The debtors journal. Open the following accounts in the ledgers using the given balance. So we are going to do what? The ledger accounts as well. So moving on, we are now told close of the subsidiary books on the 30th March and post to debtors ledger and general ledger. Folio numbers must be included. Balance the accounts where necessary. So that is all. So now we are moving on to our transactions. Moving on to the transactions for March 2020. For March 2020. They read as follows. On the 2nd, the owner, Billy Bong, increased his capital by depositing 30,000 directly into the business current bank account, and receipt number 00 was issued. On the 6th, received cash from RROXI in settlement of his debt as on March, and then there was an issued receipt number 002. Cash sales of goods according to the cash register roll is what? 3,200. Received cash from leasing for 3,500 in part of settlement of the amount owed on 1st March 2020. Issued receipt number 003. Moving on. Sold goods on credit to RROXI for 16,830. Issued an invoice number 654. Also, on the 23rd, received charge from R. Roxy in settlement of all his debt to date. Received number 004. Credit sales of goods to LC 7,450 and issued what? The invoice number of 655. So, according to our answer book, it means we are first going to do what? Debtors journal of a Billabong Traders March 2028. So this is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to do. So now we are going straight to the transaction and information given. We're going to transaction and information given for us to do what? Debtors journal of Billabong Traders March. So it means we are going to do what? We are going to be focusing on those two debtors, Roxy and Lizzie. Roxy as our debtor 1 and Lizzie as our debtor 2. So we want to know the sales for these two debtors and their cost of sales. This is where we are going to be mainly focused. Their sales as well as their cost of sales. So now let us go to the transactions that we are given. As we are here on the transactions for March 2020, you can see that we did sell our stock to Roxy, which amounts to 16,830. Because if we are dealing with debtors journal, we want to know what we sold on credit to our debtors. That is, debtors journal is all about what we sold to our debtors, what we sold to our customers on credit. That is why they become what? Debtors. So that is why the transaction 18 says we sold goods on credit to R. Roxy 16,830. So it means this is our debtors journal, our DJ. It affects our debtors journal. That is for Roxy. What about for Lizzie? If you can go to 29, credit sales. Once we say credit sales, it shows that we did sell our goods on credit to Lizzie amounting what? 7,450, which is issued invoice number 650. For Roxy, we know is invoice number 654. This one is 655. So now we are to record this on our debtors journal. Without wasting much time, we are going to record them. Remember, the document number is very, very important as well to make sure that you always indicate it. So for Roxy, we know our document number is 654. 654. And the date is what? On the 8th thing. The details now we're going to have the name of the debtor, which is what? R. Roxy. R. Roxy, which is fully now is what? Is debtors number 1. Then we did sell on credit to him with goods amounting to which? Amounting to 16,830. That is that. Now coming to our D2, which now we are talking about what, Lizzie? That is, the document number is 654, and the transaction took place on the 29th. Then we are going to have L. Lizzie. We are going to have L. Lizzie, which is our debtors 2. And then sold goods on credit to him amounting to 7,450. Now we want to know the cost of sales. Now we are to calculate what? The cost of sales. Now we are to calculate the cost of sales. Remember, we were told that here we were told that billboard traders, this information is very important for us to calculate what? The cost of sales. Billboard traders sold goods at a profit markup of what? 100%. So this is going to help us to calculate what? Our cost of sales. Now let us go and work it out. So now we're first going to start by row C. So given the markup percentage, we are given what? Given markup percentage. Given markup percentage, which equals to 100%. If 100%, which is equal to 1 when you're talking about as a decimal. As a decimal, it is equal to 1. So we are going to say our selling price. Our selling price is equal to 16,830. 16,830. So now we are going to say, we are going to go to formula. We are going to go to formula for us to get what? The cost price. So our formula will be cost price is equal to selling price divided by 1 plus markup. 1 plus markup. So this is where we're going to say equal 16,000 as our selling price. 16,830 divided by bracket 1 plus 1. So this one represents the original cost price. This multiplier 1 represent what? The original cost price, because our goods are produced at 100%. Take note of that. So this another one, which is what? Is the markup. The one that we converted into decimal and then you say it's 1. So when you add 1 plus 1 is going to give what? 2. So it means you are going to say now again 16,830 now divided by 2, which is 1 plus 1. Now is 2. So now the answer for our cost price is going to be 8,450. So this is the amount for our cost of sales, which is 8,450. That is that. So coming to Lizzie, same procedure. We are going to use what? We are going to use what? The very same formula. We are going to use the very same formula. So this is whereby now we are going to say our sales is how much? Our sales is 7,450. So we are going to divide it by 2, and then we are going to get what? We are going to get 3,725. 3,725. Because you are still going to use the very same formula. Cost price is equal to selling price divided by markup plus 1 plus markup, and then we will get the amount and divide it by 2. Then we'll get what? 2, and then we divide 16,830 by 2, then we'll get what? 7,450 by 2, then we'll get what? This amount. So this is what? 3,725. Hope we are together on that one. So now we are to add them, and then when you add 16,832, 7,450, that's when now you're going to get what? You are going to get 24,280. 24,280. Then when you add the cost of sales, you are going to get 12,140. So this is how you are to do what? Debtors journal. Hope we are together on that one. So now we are going to move on. We are going to move on to debtors ledger. We are now going to move on to debtors ledger. We are asked to calculate what? The debtors ledger of Roxy. We are asked to do the debtors ledger of Roxy and debtors ledger of Lizzie. So now we are to go straight to the information transactions that we are given for us to be able to calculate the debtors ledger of billable traders of these two debtors. So now let us go straight to the information. So for us to do that, we are first going to start with the balances in the debtors ledger on the 1st March. We are going to start with the balances in the debtors ledger on the 1st March. As we are starting with the Roxy, we are going to start with what? The account rendered for Roxy, which is 20,000, which is now this March, which is now 20,000. Then we as well, this is, we are going to enter it in the balance there in the debtors ledger of what? Of Roxy. So now let us move on to debtors journal of Roxy, and then you are going to write it this way. We are going to say date 20 March 2020, 2020 March, and then paste, and the details will be account rendered, account rendered, and then you go straight to the balance. So that is what? 20,000. 20,000. Now we want to know the receipts. We want to know the invoices, receipt, and stuff like that. So we are going straight to the transactions and see how are the transactions that are going to affect what? Debtors ledger of Roxy. Debtors ledger of Roxy. So as you can see here on the 6, if we can go on the 6, and then we can see on the 6, as it's written like this: received cash from R. Roxy in settlement of his debt. We received what? We received cash from Roxy in settlement of his debt as 1 March. What was his debt on 1 March? His debt on 1 March is what? 20,000. his debt on 1 March is 20,000. We can even go to it and see that debt on 1 March. This is his debt on 1 March. So as we are told that he settled that account, it means we received what? We received 20,000. So now we are going to record it under credit, because now we're going to receive it. It was a balance that time when we started. So it is what this 20,000 is what the amount that was owed by Roxy. So he managed to pay that. He settled that. So now we are going to say on the 6th, and then the details you're going to write the receipt now, because you received that. Received which is the invoice 002. Then what did we receive there on the 6th? Folio, we can now write what? Test receipt journal, because now we are receiving that CRJ3. Then we are going to write what? On the debit, on the credit, on the credit, because this is our income. This is the revenue now that we are earning as a business, 20,000. Because Liz managed to settle his account. So that is that. Now we are moving on to see what is going to affect the debtors ledger. Under this, our debtors 1, which is our Roxy. So we can see now on the 18th, on the 18th, we sold goods on credit to our Roxy. Now we are talking about what? Debtors journal, which is this one. Debtors journal. We sold goods on credit to our Roxy amount 16,830. So it means now we are going to record that under Roxy. On the debit side, it is going to go on the debit side, because we are still owned by our Roxy as a business. So that amount should go on the debit side. Let's quickly record it. Here we are. So we are going to say on the 18th, we have this invoice, F654. Then we are going to say what? Debtors journal. Because it's debtors journal, because as a business, we sold the goods on credit to our Roxy, and then we are to record it on the debit side to show that we are still owned by our Roxy, 16,830. So now we're going to write this balance, because we're still owned 16,830. Hope we are together. Now we are moving on to see what are other sections that are going to affect our debtors ledger of billable traders under Roxy. Now you can see on the 23rd, we are given that received cash from our Roxy in settlement of all his debt. So what is his debt? Is what? 16,830. Roxy managed to pay that. So it means now we're going to receive what Roxy owed us. So now we are to go and record it, because he managed to settle that. Then you're going to say on the 23rd. Then we write what? Received. Received 004. Once you say received, it means it goes to cash receipt journal. Now it is what? CRJ3. Then we are going to receive how much? 16,830. We go to on the credit side because this is what you're going to receive. This is an income. Pass. That is that. So we are done with what? With Roxy. Now we are to come to Lizzie. Now we are to come to Lizzie, which is our data 2. So same way as what? As Roxy, we are going to write 2020 March. 2020 March. Now we want to know the account rendered for Lizzie. Account rendered for Lizzie. So account rendered for Lizzie, now you can see when you come to here, you can see that this is the account rendered for Lizzie. 15,000. We are told that Lizzie still owed the business this March on the 1st of March. Now, let us go to the answer book. Make sure that we record that. And make sure that we record that. So here it was on the test. This on the test. Then we are going to write it as balance. 50,000. This is what Lizzie owned the business as our data. So now let us go to the informations and try to see transactions that are going to affect our data's ledger of billable traders under Lizzie, which is our data 2. So as we can see on the 13, received cash from Lizzie amounting how much? 3,530 in part of settlement of the amount owed on the 1st March 2020. How much was the amount owed on the 1st March 2020? The amount owed on the 1st March 2020 is what? 15,000. So he didn't pay all of that. Lizzie managed to pay part of it. So the part of it, which is 3,508. That's what we are going to receive in our chest receipt journal. We are going to receive this much. This is the amount that we are going to receive. So now let us go and record it. So here we are on the 13. 13, we are going to have what? Receipt 003, which is our volume now is going to be CRJ3, church receipt journal, because you're going to receive it. It simply says go straight under credit 3,530. That's what he managed to pay us out of what? 15,000. So now we want to know the remaining balance, because Lizzie didn't pay all of what she owed us. She paid part of it as what? 3,500. So we're going to say 15,000 minus 3,530. So that we know how much Lizzie still owes us. It's going to be what? 11,470. So don't forget that we did say 15,000 minus, we subtracted our 3,530 from our balance. So we said 50,000 minus 3,530, and then we managed to get what? 11,470. Hope we understand each other on that. So now we are moving on and try to see what are other transactions that are going to affect the Lizzie. So on the 29, which is this one, we are told that credit sales of goods to Lizzie 7,450 issued invoice number. So we again sell our goods on credit to Lizzie, which amount to 7,450. So we are going to record this on the debit side because these amounts represent what we are owed by leasing. So it is strictly going to go to debit side on the 29. Now on the 29, we are going to have what? Invoice number 655, and then we're going to have what? Debtors journal. This is what it simply says the business sold goods on credit to lease. That is why is this what? Debtors journal. So he sold the goods amounting to how much? 7,450. So we record it under debit side because we're still owned by this person. So now we have this remaining that we are owed by leasing. So we are going to add now 11,470 plus 7,450 so that we get the total amount that we are owed by leasing. So we are going to say 11,470 plus now 7,450. Now they will give us what? How much? 18,920. 18,920. That is that. So that is the balance now. So now we are to move on now to cash receipts journal. Now we are to move on to cash receipts journal now. So we were asked to do what? Cash receipts journal. We are asked to do cash receipts journal. So for us to do the cash receipts journal, we still have to go to transactions that we know for sure that this company or this business, billboard traders, we want to know those goods that were sold on cash, the cash that they received. So we are first going to start by the contribution that was made. If you can see, we have this much on the transactions. We have what? The owner billboard, the owner himself increases capital by depositing what? 30,000 directly into business current bank account, and receipt number 001 was issued. So we are to record that and the cash receipt journal because he deposited that money into his account. So it means he received that much, that money that he himself deposited. So we are going to start with document number, document 001. On the second, details being the owner himself, Billy Bomb. So that is that. So how much he deposited is what? 30,000. So that 30,000, it was for what? We can see that it was for capital. He increased this what? His capital. So we are writing it under sundry accounts because you don't have columns for capital here, as you can see. Then you can say the one, and then we'll add what? Capital. That is the details. Now we move on. We move on now. Move on. As you come to our transactions again, you can see that on the 6th, we received. Once we received it, simply says it goes under what? Cash receipt journal. We received cash from this person in his settlement of his debt on the 1st March and issued receipt number 002. How much was his settled amount? It was 20,000. You remember that he owed the business 20,000 and he managed to pay that 20,000 because we received this much that he owed us. Because remember, this was how the amount that he owed us. But with this transaction, it tells us that he managed to settle that amount. So that is why now it goes straight into the charge receipt journal. Now we are to record it. That is 002 002. Then it was on the 6th. Then we received it from whom? From our received it from our Roxy, which is our data one. And it is our data one. Then how much did we receive? 20. Receive what? Analysis of receipt. You can write it to 20,000. Analysis of receipt is 20,000. And then we are going to write it under data's control because we received it from our data, our rooks. So we write it under data's control. That is that. Now we move on to another information. Move on to another information and then see how our transactions now on the 6th. If you can see still on the 6th, we were told that cash sales of goods according to the cash receipt roll is what? 3,200. This is what we received. So it means we are saying is what cash sales. For goods that we sold on cash, we received out this much. So as well, it goes under cash receipt journal. Let us quickly record it. Let us quickly record it. It was still on the 6th. Still on the 6th. Still on the 6th. Then we're going to write what? Sales. Sold goods on cash, which amounts to 3,200. 3,200. So we have to add this 20,000 plus 3,200. This is the amount that is going to be into our bank, 23,200. 23,200. So what was that 3,200 for? It is because of what? The goods that we sold on cash. So we are going to write it under sales, 3,200. So if we sold goods, it means there is the cost that we incurred. We cannot sell and then we don't incur this because if we sell, there are costs that we incurred for us to sell the goods. So now it's going to take us where now we are to calculate the cost of sales. Well, as we are told that our markup cost, as we are told that our markup cost is equal to 100% on cost. So this means if markup cost is 100% on cost, it means that selling price is double the cost. So this means what? This means that a selling price, it means selling price is double the cost. Is double the cost. Is double the cost. So it means that mathematically we are going to say selling price. Mathematically we are going to say selling price is equal to cost plus 100%. Time is cost. Time is cost is equal to cost multiplied by 2. So this means that so our cost is going to be what? 50%. It means that our cost is going to be 50%. if our markup cost is on 100%. So it means our markup is going to be 50% of the selling price. It's going to be 50% of the selling price, because the selling price is exactly what? The double the cost. Because our selling price means what? The double of the cost. So cost is 50% of selling price because selling price is exactly the double the cost. So that is that. So meaning we're going to say 50% of what? Of our chase sales, which is what? 3,200. 3,200, which is now we're going to say 0.5 times 3,200, which is going to give us 1,600. So that is that. So now our cost of sales is what? 1,600. Our cost of sales is 1,600. So now we are moving on to other transactions that are going to affect As you can see now on the 13th, we received cash from Lisi for 3,530. So it means it's going straight into the cash receipt journal for our data to Lisi. 3,500 is going to go straight into our bank, which we received from our data Lisi. So now let us record it as well. Let us record it. So here we are on the 13th. So it means we are going to have 003 as our document number. On the 13th, we're going to have our data to L Lizzie. L Lizzie. So, which is our D2, our data 2. We received how much? 3,530. And then it is going to go straight into our bank, 3,530. And then we receive it from our data, which is leasing, 3,530. 530. That is that. So now we are moving on again to our transactions now. So as you can see now on the 23rd, 23, we received cash from R. Rooks in settlement of all his debt to received number 004. What was his debt? How much was he owing us? He was owing us this much, 16,830. So Roxy managed to pay that. He managed to settle his account. So it means you're going to record this 16,830 in the cash receipt, in our cash receipt journal. So here we are, grade 9, under our cash receipts journal. Document 004 on the 23rd, and then we have what? R. Roxy, which is our data 1. And then how much we received? 16,830, which is going to go into our bank, 6,830. And then we received it from our data, Roxy, 16,830. So that is that about our cash receipt journal. So now we are to do what? We are to balance our bank balance our sales, balance our cost of sales, and as well as our sundry accounts. We are going to first start by our bank. So our bank, in our bank, we are going to have the total of what? 73,560. We are going to have the total of 73,560 when you add them all. But under sales, we are going to have 3,200. Under our sales, we are going to have 3,200. Our share sales is 3,200. Cost of sales, we have what? 1.6 as it is. Under debtors control, we are going to have 40,360. 40,360. But under sundry accounts, we have the amount of capital, which is 30,000. So that is all about what? About the church receipts. That is all about church receipts. So now we are to move on to the now general ledger of billboards traders, whereby we are going to start by capital. General ledger of billboard traders. We're going to do general ledger of billboard traders, balance sheet accounts. So we are first going to start by the balances now, of which affects our capital account. First going to start by, this is going to go, it has what? Credit. It has credit balance. So we have date here, which is going to be March. So it's going to be 2020. Let me write it this way. We're going to say 2020 March. Then you have one and details. You are going to write the balance, which is now balance brought down of 200,000. 200,000. With the balance of 200,000. Where did we get that 200,000? Now we can go to our we can now go to our information, and then here is our capital. Here is our capital amount on our trial balance. That is the amount that we recorded, 200,000. And then also, don't forget, we did have on the second under transaction, the owner, remember, he increased his capital by depositing what? 30,000. So also we are to go and record that 30,000 under what? Under capital. Let us not forget that as well, that we need to record that under capital. So here we are under capital, whereby now we need to record what? The 30,000 additional capital, as the owner increased that on the second March. How much was that? We're going to write bank. We received that, and then we write CRJ, and then we received how much? 30,000. We received 30,000. Then we are to add that we have to add them. We are going to get how much? 230,000. So we are done with what? With capital. So now we are to come to trading stock. We are now to attend to our trading stock. So we are going to write, no, the trading stock we have what? Debit balance. So we are going to have 2020 March. So now we are going to write on the first, then we have what? Balance. Brought down now. Balance paid of how much? 25,800. 25,800. So we can go and see where we get this amount. A balance of 28,800. So if you can check there on the trial balance, we have the balance of what? Stock. So this is our balance brought down. So this is the amount that we recorded under trading stock on the debit side. So now also we have what? Cost of sales, which is going to go on the credit side of our trading stock. Cost of sales. So if you can still remember when we're doing our calculations under cash receipts, you can still remember we did have what? Cost of sales of 1.6, which is going to go to credit side of our trading stock. Also, we are going to again under cost of sales. If you still remember that for the 18 sold goods on credit to RX, costing what? 16,830. If we sold goods on credit to Roxy, it means as well we are going to do what? We are going to apply the very same way that we calculate the cost of sales for that cash of 3,200 that we received from Roxy. So we are still going to do the same because of what? We did receive what? We did receive that cash from Roxy, which is now we are still going to do the very same thing, whereby now we're going to say how much was it? 16, 0.5. We are still going to say 0.5, 50%, multiplied by now 16,830. 16,830. So that is that. So that is that. So under the trading stock, we now want to know how much it cost us to sell this stock. That is very important. We want to know how much it cost us to sell this stock under the trading stock. So let us go to the transactions that we know they are going to affect our trading stock, and then that transactions that are going to force us as well again to calculate what? The cost of sales. Here we are. We can talk about the 3,200, whereby you remember very well, we have said 0.5 multiplied by 3,200, which is going to give us what? 1.6. You know very well the reason why we have said 0.5, we have said this is where we're going to use what? 50%. We've said if the markup cost was on 100%, it means we are forced to do what? To use 50%. So also, we on the 18th we sold goods on credit to RROC 16,830. So now we want to know, yeah, we sold the goods to this person on credit, that amounts to this much. So how much it cost us to sell these goods? So that is where now we're going to say 0.5, which is our 50%, multiply by 16,830. That is what you're going to do. And then get what? And then get what? And then get the answer. Then again come to on the 29. On the 29, we did sell our stock on credit to Lizzie of this much. How much it cost us to sell the stock? So we are going to say 7,450 multiplied by our 0.5%. So, which is going to give us 3,725. It's going to give us 3,725. But with this one, we know very well when you multiply 0.5 times 16,800, that you're going to get what? 8,415, sorry. So these are the amounts that we are going to enter on the credit side of our trading stock. These ones. These are our cost of sales. These are our cost of sales. So we can even add this one without wasting time, whereby now we can say 8,415 plus 3,725, they are going to give us what? As our debtors journal. These ones are our debtors journal. Let's add our debtors journal, because these ones are our these ones are our debtors journal. So when you add them up, they're going to give us 12,140. So now let us quickly go to our answer. Let us go quickly. Let us go straight to our answer book now. Under debtors journal. And not under debtors journal, but under trading stock. Under trading stock. So here we are under our trading stock. As we know for sure, we are going to say we have what? Cost of sales from the goods that we sold on cash. If you still remember, we have cost of sales. Cost of sales of how much? Of 1.6, 1,600, which is on date. You can write the test. The test 2020 March. Also, you're going to have our cost of sales from what? Debtors journal. You have what? Cost of sales from our debtors journal. Remember, we added them up together and they gave us 12,140. So that is that. Now we are to do what? We are now to balance. You know very well our trading stock we have what? Debit balance. Our trading stock we have what? Debit balance. Of how much? 25,800. Then we're going to say 25,800. And then you're going to add 1.6 plus 12,140 and subtract them from 25,800, and they will give us 12,060, which is going to be our balance brought down. Our balance BD is going to be 12,060, which is on the 1st April. So our balance carry down, balance CG is going to be 12,060. So this is how we are to do what? The trading stock. That's all. Now we move on to debtors control. So this is what we are to do now. Debtors control. Debtors have debit balance. So it means we are going to start our balance from debit side. So that is 2020 March. And then you're going to say first, and then write balance. So which is balance BD amounting 35,000. Is there only trial balance? Is there only trial balance? So now we can go straight and see where we did get our 35,000. It's very important to go and straight to see where we did that 35,000. So here is our 35,000 debtors control balance. So now moving on, we can now go to debtors journal. On the debit side. So debtors journal, we want to know the goods that we sold on credit to our debtors. Goods sold on credit to debtors. So if we can come back to transaction again, we know very well that there are goods that we sold on credit to our debtors. So that amount for debtors should go on the debit side of what? Of our debtors control, because debtors still owe the business. So we know it was on the 18th that there were goods that were sold on credit amounting what? 16,830. This is the debtors journal, like I've already written it. For Roxy, also there is a credit sales on the 29 for Lizzie, which is 7,450. So it means we are going to add these two, and the total amount of these two is going straight into the debit side of our debtors journal for the goods that we sold or credit to these two customers. So take note of that. We are going to record this on these are our DJ, debtors journal. These two are our debtors journal. So we are going to say, let's go to our answer book. See how we are going to record them. Here is our debtors control. So we are going to say on 81, we have sales because we sold our goods on credit to those two debtors. Then we are going to have debtors journal. We're going to have debtors journal of how much. So if we add those two, we're talking about what? We are talking about 16,830. 16,830. If I'm not wrong, it's 16,830 plus 7,450. 7,450. So it will give us 24,208. So you just put it here, 24,208. So it goes on the debit side because you're still owned as a business by these debtors. But on the credit side, you're going to have bank. We're going to have what? Bank, CRG, Church Receipt Journal. Then you're going to write it on the 31st. You're going to write it 2020, March, and then you write 31st. So you're going to have what? 40,360. So one can ask, where did you get this 40,360? If you can go to our cash receipt journal, we can go to our cash receipt journal. We can still remember that this is the amount that we received. This is the amount that we received that is going to go into our bank. That is the amount that we received from debtors, not from the bank. This is 40,360. That is the amount, total amount for our debtors. So we are going to write it on the credit side. So that is where we get 40,360 from. It is from our cash receipts. So now we are to balance now. We are to balance now. As you know, our data journal is what? Debit balance. It is what? Debit balance. So we're going to add 35,000 plus 24,280, which they are going to give us what? 59,280. 59,280. So now we're going to have balance broke down on April. Just going to do 1. Then you say balance BT. Balance broke down of how much? When we subtract this from this 59,280 to 40,360, we're going to get 18,920. 18,920 as our balance broke down. But our balance carry down, is going to be 18,920. That is our balance carry down for debtors control. So now we are to move on to the bank now. We are to move on to the bank now. So here we are under the bank. As we know that we are going to have 2020 as it gets debit balance of March. And then we are going to have 1. Then we have balance wrote down of how much? 21,000. That is the amount that we are given on the trial balance. That is the amount that we are given on the trial balance. So also we want to know the total receipts. That 1. Then we have total receipts of how much? Of 73,560. 73,560. So when you add them, we are going to get what? 94,560. 94,560. So let's see where we did get what our balance brought down as well as our total receipts. Very important to know where did they come from. So as you can see, for our balance brought down for a bank, here it is, which is also told that is on the debit side. We're told that is on the debit side. So the total receipts now of 73,560. So it means now we are going to get it from our debtors. We're going to get it from our cash receipts journal because it's the total receipts. So you're going to get it from receipts journal. Here it is, as we are told that is the total receipts. So here is our 73,506. So that is our total receipts on our bank account. On our bank account. So that is that. Now we are moving on to the nominal accounts section, whereby now we are going to do what? The sales account. We are going to do the sales. So our sales have what? Credit balance. Then you are going to have 2020, March, and then you're going to have one balance. So we are here on a trial balance, we have the sales amount of 89,988. You see it there on the trial balance. So also, we are going to say the 31st, we are going to have what? Bank. There are goods that we sold on cash, if you remember. There are goods that we sold for cash, CRJ. If you can still remember, 3,200 that we received. So it went straight to the cash receipts journal. So we also have debtors control on the debtors control, if you still remember. Debtors control, where debtors control is from debtors journal, like we always say, of how much? 24,208. So that is that. So now let us see where all this amount comes from. So this one comes from straight to the trial balance. There on the trial balance you have this amount. This one is the amount that we received for selling our goods on cash. So let us go there and see and prove what we are saying. Here we are to see those amounts that we said we received. We've said our balance is from what? Our balance is from trial balance. Our balance is from trial balance, the balance of sales. Here it is 39,988. So that is our opening balance on the credit side of our sales account. But also we have what? Also we said we have a bank of 3,200. So the balance of 3,200, this is the balance. This is the balance. This is the balance that is going to go straight under sales as our cash receipts. So the amount of 24,208 as our debtors journal, debtors control. This is where we added this debtors journal. Remember, that is where the 240 comes from. Hope we understand each other. So now we are to move on to cost of sales as our last count before we can get to another question. Cost of sales, it is going to have what? Debit balance. So you're going to have 2020 March, which is test. Then you're going to have balance, and its balance brought down. So the amount of cost of sales from the trial balance is 19,994. That is that. Also, the 31st, you're going to have what? A trading stock. Going to debit our cost of sales with trading stock of how much? 1.6. Remember, we calculated 1,600 from our cash reception, wherever we said 50% of what? 3,200. Remember that. Also, we're going to have trading stock. These are the costs that we calculated. Here we have what? 12,140. Can still remember for our debtors journals, for those goods that we sold on cash, we calculate the cost of sales of 50% as well, if you still remember that. So now we're going to add them together, and we are going to get what? 33,734. 33,734. So that is that. So now we are to go and attend question 2. We are to go and attend question 2. So now we are to attend to question 2. Here is our question 2. Then we are to answer the questions under this question 2 as it reads as follows. Study the graph below and answer the questions that follow. So we are going to start this demand and supply of our umbrellas. So let's quickly go and answer the questions. Let's go straight to the questions and try to answer them. So it says, name the vertical or y-axis. Name the vertical or y-axis. So here is our y-axis. The vertical, which is this part, is our y-axis. So it says name the vertical or y-axis. So the vertical or y-axis is what? Is the price in rent. Price in rent, or you can just say it's price. Then say name the horizontal. Horizontal, which is this, which is our x-axis. So that is quantity. That is quantity. Then it moves on and say, how many umbrellas are consumers willing to buy at the price of 70? At the price of what? Of 70. So we can see when you come to our demand and supply of umbrellas, this graph, you can see as we can go to 70, you can see here is our 70. You can see our 70 is somewhere here, sorry. You can see here is our 70, and you can see that the umbrellas that they're going to buy are how many? They are 4. So it means this is what? 4 umbrellas. So umbrellas, how many? 4. Just answer it like that. 4 umbrellas. 4 umbrellas. Now we are moving on. Oh, sorry. Let me use the same ink that I used, which is red. 4 umbrellas. 4 umbrellas. And moving on, how many umbrellas are the producers willing to supply at 100? How many umbrellas are producers willing to supply at 100? So we go straight to our graph, and we can see that at 100, we are going to produce how many? 11. How many umbrellas are producers willing to supply? They are going to supply how many? 11. At 100, as you can see, here we are at 11. So 11 umbrellas that are going to be supplied, because here is what it means. We are from here up to here. So that is 11 umbrellas. So you're going to write how many? 11. 11 umbrellas. 11 umbrellas. So 2.5 says, what will be the impact of a price of 100 be on the producers? What will be the impact of price of 100 be on the producers? Producers will have too much stock for the demand. It means that producers will have too much stock for the demand. For the demand, producers will have too much stock for the demand. Producers will have to lower the price. Producers will have to lower their price. Producers will have to lower their price to the market equilibrium price. To the market equilibrium price. So that is that. Now we are moving on to 2.6. Name the intersection point of 6 to R50. Now we have to name this intersection. Let's just here. So this is the intersection that you are asked to name. This is the intersection. This is the intersection that they're talking about. What do you call that intersection? That's what the question wants. So the intersection is called what? Market equilibrium. Called what? Market equilibrium. It's called market equilibrium. Now we are moving on to 2.7. 2.7. Here we are on 2.7. It says define the following concepts: market equilibrium. So market equilibrium, that is when market demand and market supply are the same. It is when market demand and market supply are the same. And market supply are the same. when market demand and market supply are the same. So market equilibrium price, the price at which supply of demand and for a product is the same. So market equilibrium price and still under 2.7. It is what? Market is the price. That is the price at which the supply, at which the supply or the supply of and demand. The supply of and for a product. Supply and demand for a product. Demand for product, sorry. We're saying the price at which the supply and demand for a product, demand for a product is the same. So that is all about question 2. Let's quickly move to question 3. So let's quickly move to question 3. So where we are given what? A case study. Let's quickly go through the case study. Read the following case study and answer the questions that follow. Wellview Restaurant and the Coffee Shop is a business on the Benchfront Road in the Hermanus in the Western Cape. The Hermanus is famous for its whales, which come in great numbers of Walker Bay and swim close to the cliffs, where many tourists can see them. The whale season is in winter. The owner of the coffee shop has managed the restaurant in the Cape Town for 10 years and has spent 4 years working in the restaurant in Europe. So now we have to answer this question. Name 3 components of business plan. Name 3 components of what? Of a business plan. We know with business plan, we're going to talk about format. Format of business plan. We are going to talk about cover page. We are going to talk about production plan. We are going to talk about marketing plan. We are going to talk about management plan. We are going to talk about financial plan. And etc. So, we also even have sort for analysis and any other things. So that is that. So now let's move on to question 2 under question 3. Explain why you think it is important for a business plan to look professional. Business plan represent everything that your business is about. So it is important to prepare a plan properly. So business plan, we can say business plan represent everything that your business. It represent everything that your business is about. That your business is about. So it is important to prepare. So it is important to prepare to prepare a plan properly. So, as you know, that an incomplete or badly written or sloppy business plan will tell readers that your business is badly run and that you don't care about being meticulous about it. So investors will not want to finance a badly run business. So that is that. So now let us move on to identify what is a vision statement. Identify what is a vision statement. So we know that a vision statement, a business vision statement is a statement of what the business aims to achieve. So it is what the business aims to achieve. This is what the business aim to achieve in the medium term or long term. So the vision statement helps the managers to choose the best actions to take to reach what the business goals. Helps managers to choose the best action. So it also it also helps managers to choose best actions. Best actions to take to reach the business goals. To reach business goals. So now we are moving on to another question. This question 4, discuss the type of information a marketing plan needs to contain. So a marketing plan should include the following information. What marketing aims the business wants to achieve? Then you say what marketing aims, what marketing aims the business wants to achieve. Aims the business wants to achieve. Also, it is also an explanation of how your goods and services will benefit customers. How your goods, and services will benefit customers. Will benefit customers. Is that? Also, the details about target market you have identified for your business. Detailed of what? Target market. Detailed of target market. So that is that. Details about the target market you have identified for your business. Very important as well that you have to know. Also, information about your competitors and plan of how you plan to stay ahead of them. So you need what? Details about your competitors. Details about your competitors. competitors. So you need to know the details about what your competitors. Details about you need to have that information about your competitor and plan for how you plan to stay ahead of them. How are you going to win them? How are you going to have competitive advantage? That is that. So now let us move on to question 5. Question 5 talks about what? Do SWOT analysis of the business with view, restaurant, and coffee shop. So we are going to talk about the strengths, setting. You know, when we talk about SWOT analysis, we use strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And you know, SW, which is strength and weakness, are internally. OT, which is opportunity, and threats are external. So we are first going to start by the strengths of this business. Let's first start by the strengths. So the strength, that is setting. If we did read the case that you get, setting, tourist rate is guaranteed. Tourist rate is guaranteed. Tourist rate is guaranteed every year. Every year at the whale season. That is its strength. At the whale season. So tourists will come and admire such, and then that will bring more income. So tourists throughout the year, that is means tourists visit throughout the year. That's what it means. Tourists are going to visit throughout the year. When people are on holiday, they tend to eat out. So that's what we are saying. We are talking about tourists visit throughout the year. Visit throughout the year. Tourists visit throughout the year. So that is when people are on holiday, they tend to eat out. When people are on holiday, they tend to eat out. They tend to eat out. So that is a strength of this restaurant. Now coming to the weakness. Now coming to the weaknesses of this Whaleview restaurant and coffee shop. Whale season is very busy, so the coffee shop may need more staff. Whale season is very busy. So the coffee shop may need more staff. So the coffee shop may need more staff. They need more staff, but cannot sustain them all year. That is the weakness. But cannot sustain them all year. So that is that. The owner has run restaurant, but not in a small town. Opportunities, they are externally. What are the opportunities of this business? opportunities. We have been told about the Hermanas is growing because of an increase in tourism. So that place, which is called the Hermanas, is growing. Growing because of an increase in tourism. Because of an increase in tourism. Because of an increase in tourism. Several people are moving there as technology improves and people don't need to be in an office to work. So that is that. Now let's come to the threats. The threat, strong competition as it is tourist destination. Strong competition. Strong competition as it is a tourist destination. As it is a tourist destination. So if behavior patterns of the ways change, then the town could lose its appeal. So that is that again can be a threat. Now let us move on to question 6, which is the last question. What is a financial plan? The financial plan is the business owner's opportunity to show all the business finances have been planned throughout. We are saying financial plan. The financial plan is the business owner's opportunity. Is the business owner opportunities. Opportunities to show business finances. Show business finances. Show business finances have been planned fully. Have been planned fully. And that the business financial fiber. And that the business is financially viable. So that is that. So this is the end of this presentation. Thank you for your time. Make sure that you're going to use this presentation as to help you to be fully prepared for your exams that you're going to write for term 3. And it is also going to be very helpful for the exams that you're going to write in November. So please share with others and make sure that you are going to as well hit the subscription button. Thank you very much.